Okay, your character needs to snore in a scene, and you don't know how to make it convincing, do ya? Let's learn a little bit about the physical sensation of snoring and how you can act that. So a lot of actors, the way they do snoring wrong is they will go, they'll just, they make the sound of what they think a snore sounds like, and it's more like a pig oinking or something like that, and it's not really how people sound when they snore. The physical sensation of a snore is because your uvula and your soft palate are blocking your air passage, and they're vibrating as the air comes in or out. You want to think about your character and how much sleep apnea they might have, because people with sleep apnea cut their breath off and they take long periods of time between their breaths. They sound a little like this. So they have like a long pause after the breath, and then they kick back in. And they're kind of one of the most annoying snores to be around. There's a great movie, Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, has two great scenes where two of the actresses have to snore while they are asleep. And their snores are both very, very convincing and realistic. You believe these girls are actually asleep and actually snoring. Snores also almost always come through your mouth. You're rarely breathing through your nose. So if you put something up your nose to stuff yourself, your snores will sound a little bit more convincing. If you plug your nose just to practice, you'll get better at snoring. And if you need to be an obnoxious snorer, you just put a little bit more of that vibration into it. This is really gross. Instead of the, which is like a pig snorting, and it's up in the front of your nose and at the top of your palate, you want it to be more in the back in the uvula, the soft palate, more like a yawn. It's higher up in the back of your throat, and you want to get that physical sensation. Also, you want to think, does your character wake themselves up from their own snore? Do they just go on louder than ever? Does the snore change when they turn over, when they're on their back? Are you drooling? If your mouth is open, let a little drool fall out. Is your mouth hanging open, or is it kind of closed? Because sometimes people have lips closed. There might be a little plosive from their lips when they snore. Depending on the restrictions of the scene and the objectives of the scene, you want to just make sure that you are giving it a very specific sensation and sound. And if you happen to know that you snore, I recommend you record yourself snoring, have somebody videotape you one night, and watch that snore back. And you'll see what you are actually capable of doing when you're asleep that you weren't ever aware that you were doing before. So you've learned to make your character snore. Now what do you want to learn next? Do you want to learn how to act a nightmare? Learn how to turn your snore into a cough? Or do you want to wake up and stumble around blindly in the dark? Nightmare, cough, or dark?